Be sure to stick around till the end of this episode for an important update that occurred after we recorded.
From the JAMA Network, this is the JAMA Medical News Podcast, discussing timely topics in clinical medicine, biomedical sciences, public health, and health policy, featured in the medical news section of JAMA.
Welcome to this news roundup. I'm Jennifer Abbasi, Director of JAMA Medical News. On today's show, we're discussing nicotine pouches and their potential use as a smoking cessation strategy. Staff writer Samantha Anderer is here to tell us about this. Sammy, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Jen.
You and our editorial intern, Shravya Pant, reported on a new initiative from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration to review more nicotine pouches for marketing authorization. But first, tell us a little bit about these products. For those who may not be familiar with them, what are nicotine pouches?
So, nicotine pouches are small sachets that are placed between the gum and the lip. As they sit in the mouth, they deliver nicotine from the oral mucosa to the bloodstream, where it passes to the brain. The pouches contain a mixture of ingredients, including synthetic nicotine powder, sweeteners, and pH stabilizers, but notably, they lack tobacco.
Now, these products have become increasingly popular since they were first introduced onto store shelves in 2016. And in January of 2025, the FDA granted its first authorization to Zyn nicotine pouches, which are now the most popular product in the oral tobacco and nicotine market. What can you tell us about the FDA program?
Yeah, so currently Zyn is the only nicotine pouch brand authorized by the FDA. But the agency is interested in making additional options available for adult cigarette smokers who want to switch to less harmful nicotine pouches. In September, the FDA announced a pilot program to expedite its review of more options through its pre-market tobacco product application pathway. In these applications, manufacturers need to show that a product is appropriate for the protection of public health. The public health experts that we spoke with expressed optimism about the pouches, since they don't require inhalation and don't contain many of the carcinogenic chemicals found in cigarettes. When reviewing new products through its pre-market tobacco product application pathway, the FDA weighs the risks and benefits, factoring in whether current tobacco product users would quit if the new product came to the market, and, conversely, whether it would attract non-users to tobacco. Surveys show that nicotine pouches are most popular among former smokers and vapers, which suggests people are using them to quit or stay quit. But as with all nicotine products, there are health concerns, especially around dependence. And a major concern is around their appeal to non-users, particularly youth.
So from what we know, are youth using nicotine pouches?
Well, at the moment, reports of youth use are fairly low. A 2024 survey found that less than 2% of middle and high schoolers had used pouches in the past month. But it's important to remember what happened with e-cigarettes. The hope was that they would serve as a less harmful alternative for smokers. That was true for some, but marketing tactics also paved the way for a youth vaping crisis. The flavors were particularly attractive to the younger audience, and Zyn comes in flavors like cinnamon, citrus, and cool mint. There's also the perceived benefit of discreet consumption, which is pushed in advertising. And social media Zynfluencers have become trendy on Instagram and TikTok.
Zynfluencers, okay. Well, what are the next steps for the FDA pilot program?
Yeah, that's a good question. There isn't a ton of detail, but the FDA has hinted that they may shorten the scientific review process in light of the pouch's relatively lower risk. Improving review efficiency is fairly standard and important, according to a former Center for Tobacco Products director who we interviewed, as long as the integrity of the process remains intact. Experts also noted that granting more authorizations may help the FDA hold nicotine pouch brands accountable in a market likened to the Wild West. Given the tension between potential benefits and concerns, I'm interested in seeing how the pilot program pans out.
Me too, Sammy. Thanks. If you'd like to learn more, we'll include a link to this story in the show description. And you can find all of our stories at jamamedicalnews.com. This week, we also published a story on the association between COVID-19 exposure in utero and neurodevelopmental outcomes in children. After we recorded this episode, the FDA announced the authorization of 6 nicotine pouch products from another brand called On Plus. The agency said its evaluation found the products to contain lower levels of harmful and potentially harmful constituents than other oral and smokeless tobacco products. While acknowledging that no tobacco products are risk-free or safe, the agency concluded that the authorized pouches have, quote, the potential to provide a benefit to adults who smoke cigarettes and or use other smokeless tobacco products that is sufficient to outweigh the risks of the products, including to youth. That's it for this JAMA Medical News Summary. I'm Jennifer Abbasi. To follow this and other JAMA Network podcasts, please visit us online at jamanetworkaudio.com or search for JAMA Network wherever you get your podcasts. This episode was produced by Daniel Morrow at the JAMA Network. Thanks for listening, and join us again next time.
This content is protected by copyright by the American Medical Association with all rights reserved, including those for text and data mining, AI training, and similar technologies.